consequence
of
cheating in where one party is more committed than the other. There's apparently in Africa, in our part of Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, West Africa, faithful wives are more likely to contract HIV/AIDS than prostitutes, and that should tell you. That is very telling.
Okay, let me press the red button here. Wherein lies the word choice? Whose responsibility does it fall on to make a choice? So you know the man is a womanizer, you go in for him. You know the man is stingy, you go in for him. You know the man is a wife beater, he's violent, but because he's rich, he's got this, he's got name, he's got image, and so on and so forth. He's popular, he's famous. So you go and say, wherein lies the choice? Because when a woman makes a wrong choice, she stands to bear the brunt of negative energy. So where lies the choice?
The thing is, if from childhood a woman is taught that your honor is in your husband, you know, as a woman, your honor is in being married. If you're a married woman, unmarried woman at a certain age, you're looked down on by society. Are you not more willing to make allowances for someone who's a cheat or a liar or a beater? Because society has told you that you are nothing or you're not enough if you're not married, regardless of what.
But society does not say that if you don't marry a violent man, a stingy man.
But the thing is, if you're desperate, the thing is, society keeps telling you, you need to get married, you need to get married. You have so many achievements, it doesn't matter until you're married. You know, marriage becomes this like prize that you must get at all costs. And when it gets to society, you just think, I'm just going to take.
Can you be forced into marriage? You,
no, not
as in Felicity.
Just because I'm not, does not mean that people are not.
No, the thing is,
no, I will not. But the thing, we cannot keep making this thing about single individuals. We have to look at society as a whole. What are the norms that what things do we normalize in our society? We were in Ghana when, for so long, Clifty was not married. What kind of things did we not say about her? Her achievements did not matter because she was not married. Until
well, that didn't come up. I didn't hear that. But perhaps the point is that sometimes let's all chew the glass. Let's chew the glass. It's difficult, but the point is that sometimes it depends on the way you carry yourself. And the kind of things that you say, that makes people come at you with certain things.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If until we live in a society where we treat, this is just a sign of inequality. Because if a woman's unmarried at a certain age, we chalk it down to certain things. Where a man, you know, look at the word bachelor, spinster. Which one sounds more like attractive?
Oh, when you're a spinster, it's nice.
Oh, that's lies.
Spinster.
No.
Like,
you just flip the script on yourself.
I have even won an award for being the most eligible bachelor.
And who's won the most eligible spinster award?
The time I won it was Belamundi who won the thing. And you know,
but Patrice, I think the real conversation here is how society, in our society, we've used marriage as this, you know, all or die thing, you know, for women, where that is where we place women's validation, and that's why there's so many accomplished women.
But it ought to be the reason, shouldn't it?
Then it should be for both boys and girls. But
yes, but
right at age 5, right?
So I can tell you right now, I can mention names of people who see me and they ask me. My landlord is one of them. Mr. Bozo will say, so Patrice, when are you getting married? When I was but
you get to
meet me. Mr. Baka met me like, what was that, Wednesday, and was asking me, oh boy, you go marry? You know,
can I just say
they meet me and they ask me all those questions. So for boys, it happens to us.
From the age of 5, you know, girls, they start teaching them to cook and to clean. What kind of skills are embedded in you from that age as a boy to kind of make you a better husband?
Which of them is older than the other?
We're the same age, please.
You're the same age.
Yeah.
So that is not going to hold. Because I wanted to ask a question. You know, you have a younger sibling, don't you?
Yeah.
You equally have a younger sibling and an older one.
Yeah.
You know that your younger sibling can never be your age.
Yeah.
Yes, she can never be your age.
Okay, so
it is a principle in life.
That a woman will never be a man?
No. There are principles in life. The fact that you were first born, there are certain things that you benefit from. The fact that you were the first to start working, there are certain things you benefit. For example,
are we using the same example?
What I am saying is that there are certain principles that we all have to align our minds to.
Which principles?
That regardless of that, it is a man who puts a name on
Patrice,
a woman.
let me give you an example. So last year during the election, was the last year?
Yes.
A public official stood on stage and, you know, addressed his contender, who was a woman, that, you know, show us your wife, show us your husband before, you know, we can actually talk. And so a woman, no matter what she's accomplished in life, what we are saying is the way marriage is marketed to women and men in this society is problematic. It needs to be balanced. There's already an imbalance where the man is not held accountable for anything he does in
what regard?
I mean, we could give several.
You see, I just want to make this point that feminism and our movement, like, it's not when we don't just want to center on something like female-male relationships.
Oh, no, my guess is clear.
Because,
seriously,
because we have to make that point clear. It's not just for you, but for people listening.
Yeah.
Because if not, then it's like gender inequality. It transcends whatever happens in your marriage personally. I think as long as it's not abusive, you guys, it's about choice. You should do it based on common sense. Marriages should be based on common sense. You know, in terms of how you guys relate to each other. So that's not where we want to place all of this conversation.
What about choice? What about choice?
And so what we are doing, basically, I mean, I'm just iffy. I'm on Facebook talking. I haven't come into your homes to come and hit your head and say, accept what I'm saying. What we are doing is what we are doing is critical thinking, actually. We're just raising conversations. And so we want to believe in the agency of women and men listening and watching us and reading from us to be able to start thinking about our gender narratives differently and weigh it for themselves.
Because I want practical examples. So for marriage, sorry, you see, I'm the moderator here, so I have the upper hand. You see, so for marriage, I mean, why should a woman be pressured to marry if she is not willing to and ready to? At what point is she pressured?
She's pressured right. I mean,
the role of the woman in the house.
You're acting as if you don't grow up in this society. It's all over in our Nollywood and our Gollywood movies.
Yes.
How we rate women's validation. I mean, even us. A number of us are single, and a number of us are married. But even us. Look at what people
ask me is any of you guys married? As if what?
As if marriage is going to validate your existence.
Or anything I have to say. As if when you get married, there's like a wisdom that's implanted in the ring. As soon as you wear this.
Oh, you guys are making me sweat. I'm just sweating right now. Because I'm not sweating by what you're saying. I'm attracted by your beauty. I hope it's not a negative.
So anyway,
okay, good. So I need to touch up. I'm sweating.
So there's no space. Like, people would ask you this question. They will ask you, so any of you guys, any of you married, as if whether being married or not is not the point. That's not the point. What I'm saying, is it true? Is it valid? It's nothing to do with whether I'm married or not, because when you're married, it doesn't make you any smarter or any dumber than if you're not married or you are married. So that's the point. We just want to make it, what we're saying, is it valid, is it not valid? And we need to move away from some of these things. People keep saying, it's natural. Like, something like, cooking is natural for a woman. So we want to bring a conversation about, how is cooking natural for a woman? Because cooking is a learned skill. You put a woman in the kitchen who's never been in the kitchen, she wouldn't know what to do. Equally, put a man in there who's never been in the kitchen, he wouldn't know what to do. It's something that you learn. So there's nothing in a woman's genetic makeup that makes her a better cook. It's just practice. If she's been taught to cook from the age of 5, of course, when she enters the kitchen at 28, she's going to be a great cook.
This is getting me to think a lot about so many things. So let's talk about cooking. Cooking. You see, everything has got to do with the society where it's so, like I said, in speech or communication, we have 3 types of sayings. We have the cliche that people use to get out of their own way. We have the wise sayings. That depends on where you are. So if you talk about the winter, something in the winter, then it's got to do with the territories where there's winter, summer, autumn, and so on and so forth. But then it comes to proverbs. So there's cliche, there's wise saying, and proverbs. Proverbs transcends everybody and covers everybody. So my point is that in our society and in our system, I mean, cooking is more like the commonplace for the woman.
Yes, but why?
Why
should it be?
And what made it so? What has made it so?
God has made it so.
What has made it so?
What has made it so? It's our society. That is how we
are. And so you see, we are not saying
why would you want to change things?
Why don't you want to change things though? Because when we raise the issue about cooking,
why haven't you ever questioned why a woman doesn't marry a man and put her name on the man?
Who said we haven't questioned?
That's not
who said we haven't? You see, this is the thing. People only got to know about due to this whole cooking propaganda, and then all of a sudden they've redefined our agenda for us. We started in September. And before September, this was an entire momentum we were gathering for over a year. I have been raising conversations. We have touched on every issue. And when we started Pepper Them officially, we flipped scripts on every issue you can imagine.
Sorry, keep your comments coming in, okay? The text line or the WhatsApp line is appearing on your screen. Just keep them coming, and we will read them. This one says, "Hi, good evening. Please, your guests are trying to change the creation of God. God created the universe in a patriarch order. It is a man who marries a woman. Are they saying women should marry men now?" You see, so the point comes back to them.
Can I come back to that?
That's not what you're.
But can I address that quickly? Because in India, men actually pay groom, women pay groom price.
Yes.
But however, the same inequalities exist. So if it was simply about who marries who and what determines, then they wouldn't have those issues there. But as we know in India, rape is very prevalent in India. They have a rape epidemic.
You both believe in the Bible, don't you?
Yes.
You believe in the Bible, so
yes.
you read the Bible.
Yes. But
so have you read about the kings of Israel when God was establishing the kingship? Was there ever a woman as a king? So there always has to be a leader, and the leader God has ordained.
And the leader can't cook.
The leader can't
reduce this. The leader is denigrated because he cooks
I'm
for
the best chef in Ghana. I can cook. So when any of you should marry me, you enjoy.
So what's the argument here?
My point is that it is men who are irascible, men who don't think, who say that okay, so woman has to cook regardless whether she's tired or not. So it is the mindset of that man, not society.
Yes, but the thing is, how many of those men exist? Like right now, as I was on my way, I listened to a radio show, and it was this. We'll talk about these kind of things. And most of the men who were calling in were expressing the fact that no, he married her, so she has to be the one who cooks. And when we're just saying that, we're not saying women shouldn't cook. We're not saying men should have to cook. What we're saying is cooking is a learned skill. Hunger knows no gender. Hunger doesn't say you're a man, so you don't feel hungry.
Right.
So cooking should be a skill that every adult should learn, because this is a skill that will benefit yourself primarily.
Yeah.
So it's a good skill for everybody to have. It shouldn't be placed on just one gender. And of course,
it is not.
What it is.
Because when I go to a lot of the hotels in Ghana where I eat or the restaurants, it is men who cook.
And this is what supplements what we're saying, because if really cooking was a gendered skill, then we wouldn't have most chefs being men. Most chefs across the world, Michelin stars. It is because our attention has been focused on that. That's why we are thinking that man has to do this, woman has to do this. You and I know that you can't carry the weight that I'm supposed to carry. Now, in art, look at the shape of a woman. I'm sorry. Look at the shape of a woman. You get it? The thumb of the man is always like this. The thumb of the woman, the man is always this way. It's inwards. When you look at the skeletal structure of man, is this way. That of a woman is this. That's why women do this, and men are like that. So there are things that, like I said, in principle, you can't change. It is off the woman.
Okay, but Dem Ministries, let me come in. I think there's a problem when we identify these differences or uniqueness between both genders, and we want to place one above the other and say this one, because this one is more important or more valuable or more stronger. But you see, and people like to raise these arguments. Oh, in the olden days when men went to war, you know, they kept the women and their children back at home because they are the weaker vessel. No, but let me. You see, all our definitions are so myopic. Women were not kept because they were the weaker sexes. Because historically there were women fighters, there were women warriors. Yes. And so, but you know, we need to redefine it in this way. Women and children represent a continuity and the future of the and generations of the society. And so keeping women at home should not justify any inequality done to them because of their physique. Because they have a strength. They have a unique strength that a man can never.
I don't know if I'm digressing, but let me just make this one point.
You kind of are.
Let's look at, you all know athletics.
Yes.
Sports.
Yes.
So let's look at 100 meters, the sprint, 200 meters, 400 meters. Which woman's record has beaten that of a man? Let's look at high jump, long jump.
Okay.
So the point is that I'm saying that in principle, there are things of the man and things of the woman.
Okay,
society.
But okay, how many you're sat there right now?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not an athlete, are you?
I am an athlete.
But you're an athlete?
Yes.
So the thing is, you probably not be able to outrun most female athletes, you as a man. So it's because that man has built on his skill. And when we start reducing gender discussions to who wins tennis and who wins a race,
I'm saying
it's
that
very simplistic.
There's a principle of the man.
It's very simplistic. And yeah, but even when we go to even strength of lifting, if we both decided to be bricklayers, the reality is if I wanted to be a bricklayer, as I start lifting, we're both lifting, we'll both be able to do the same job virtually. And most of the things that we actually need our strength for, how many things in our day-to-day life do we need physical strength for? Technology is taking over so many of these tasks. So you don't really, in terms of the strength that you needed before to do certain activities, you don't need to do those things.
Have we questioned why a lot of artisans are men?
As you sit here right now,
I swim.
When you want to build a house,
can you swim?
Yes, I can swim.
Can you swim at 20 feet?
I mean,
how many men here can swim as good as we do?
No, what I'm saying is that
it's a skill, it's learned.
Exactly. So you go to the marketplace and you find a lot more women there because of the skill and nature.
Why are you?
The masons, the carpenters, and the mechanics and so on, a lot of them are men.
But that shouldn't justify any inequality, though.
Yes,
That's the point.
That's the whole point. The thing is, we've said that society has gone, we've been doing things a certain way for a while. So we need to start going back to reevaluate these things to see if they're still valid and are they still necessary.
We've redefined